Coming to the next topic or the next part of speech, which is prepositions. Now what are they? Preposition is a word, or I can say a group of words that shows you the position, the direction or the location, and it is always placed before a noun, a pronoun or a noun phrase. Prepositions can be divided into three groups: preposition of time, preposition of place and other prepositions. So, if I need to talk about prepositions of time, we have like on, in, at, since, from, ago, before, etc. For example, this shop works since 1970s, or I have been working here for 5 years. We will meet on April 7th. So, these all examples, they come under the topic prepositions of time. If I need to talk about prepositions of place, right. So, we have in, we have at, on, beside, under, below, above, etc. This diagram explains how to use prepositions. For example, if you see the pictures, it will show you the location or the position, like it starts with on, in, over, under, for, near, up, down, go, among, next to, in front of, behind, between, around or through. So, what happens is that these prepositions, they always help you to understand the position or the location. We can also see some more pictures to make it more clear. If you see the pictures, you will see like how it expresses like going up or coming down, across the road, over the bridge, under the bridge, along the street, into the house, out of the house, through the town, past the house, round the tree, from A to B. So, what happens is that generally it is considered that prepositions, the topic is quite easy to understand and to use it, but if you do not use it in the proper way, it makes a difference. For example, whenever we want to talk about any media, if I need to talk about electronic media, or if I need to talk about the media which is like considered as newspapers or the print media, I mean to say. So, we use on for electronic media, or we use in for print media. Like I can say I read about the article in the newspaper, or I can say I saw the article on the internet. So, it makes the difference to know properly about the prepositions. Coming to the next are other prepositions, the third category, which includes by, about, of, with, without, as, for, per, etc. For examples, we were talking about him, or we travelled by car. This car's speed is 180 kilometers per hour, or I took off my coat. I don't want to dinner as I have just eaten a lunch. Grammar, if I say, is a choice of preposition in a clause, or I can say the preposition, the way you select it in a clause, it often depends on the adjective, verb or noun which comes before, or which comes before it, I can say. For example, verbs plus preposition, I can say like care, or I talk about complain. If I say care, so which prepositions generally goes with or collocates with care is about. So, we can try to make a sentence like if I say care plus about. So, I can say I care about your results. If I talk about complain, so how will I collocate it with about? So, we can say don't complain about him. So, these are the, we have the variety of verbs like this, like we can say hear, know, learn, say, talk, think, warn, wonder, worry, write. They all go, or they all form a group, they all collocate with the preposition about. Let us take some other list, like if I talk about aim, fire, laugh. No, they make a pair with at. For example, do not laugh at the poor people. Don't look at me like that. So, laugh at, look at, point at, shout at. So, they all form a group with at. Take another pair, like we have choose, we have decide. They generally form a collocation with, we call it like between. Like if I need to say choose between the two or decide between the group you have, distinguish between, differentiate between, right. If I talk about aim, apologize, apply, forgive, hope, long, prepare, search, wait, watch or wish, they always form a pair with for. Like I can say, I apply for the job, I hope for getting good marks. So, we make a pair like that. If I talk about other verbs like learn, or I can say prevent, so you use it from, like prevent from doing something wrong, learn from your elders. Okay. Talk about another pair, we have convince, we have concentrate, we have count, depend, insist, rely. They always make a pair with on, like rely on, never depend on others, always rely on your abilities. So, we make the pair with on. Okay. Talk about explain, present, speak, talk and write. They always form a pair with to. Talk to your parents, write to your head officers, speak to your friends, or we talk about in that frame, right. Take about another, like we have deal, go out, play, stay. They form a pair with. Okay. So, we do not use a preposition, like if I say she married him last year, it makes sense. We do not use with over there, like I do not need to say she married with him or she married to him, it is not needed. So, there are certain sentences where preposition is not needed. For example, if I say there are verbs of saying or thinking. For example, complain, know, learn, say or something, talk, think, warn, wonder or write. They are often followed by about when we want to indicate the topic. For example, that way you can learn about teaching before being asked to do it. Some other verbs of saying or thinking like discuss, debate, consider or mention. No, they do not need a preposition. For example, if I say we need to discuss the problem, so there is no need to discuss about or discuss on, just we need to discuss the problem is enough. Some verbs of saying, for example, apologize or explain, present, speaking, talk or write, they are often followed by to plus the person to show who the speech is directed at. For example, if you say, have you talked to anyone who has done this course? So, have you talked to anyone, right? We use at plus person or thing after some verbs. For example, if I say aim, fire, if I say you should aim at success, so we are making a sentence in that way. If I say fire, laugh, look, shout or yell, to show who or what is focus of the verb. If they shout at me in the class, I am not sure what I will do. We often use for after verbs that show desire. Again, the example like we have hope, long or wish. We also use to introduce the thing we want. For example, I say, I am aiming for a good mark in my next assignment for a good mark. We use to after aim, hope and long if they are followed by a verb. For example, if I say, I am hoping to get a better mark than last year. Similarly, adjective plus preposition like we have anxious, annoyed, concerned, excited, worried. they are always followed by about, like I am worried about your ill health, okay, we say that way. Again we have certain adjectives like amazed, annoyed, astonished, or I can say bad, clever, good, skilled, or I can say surprised. They always form a group with preposition at. I was surprised at his performance, so we say that way. Again if I talk about some more, like we have disturbed, excited, impressed, shocked, we have the preposition by. They form a good collocation with these adjectives, right. We have more like bad, concerned, good, responsible. We have a preposition for, like you are responsible for your success or failure. Okay, we have some more like disappointed, interested, frightened, scared, terrified. Now they always form a very good collocation with of. He was frightened of watching, I can say like horrible or the movies which scare him. Okay, we can also say like the verb adjectives like clever, cruel, generous, good, a kind. They always form a group like, or they always form a pair with at or to. At the same time, if you want to say unkind or polite, so what we say? You should be polite to all. You should never be unkind to anyone. Okay. Again we have like annoyed, concerned or disappointed or obsessed, satisfied. They form a pair with. Adjectives talking about ability, which may be bad or clever or good or terrible, they are often followed by at. For example, I am not very good at maths. Some adjectives describing fear, frightened, scared or terrified can be followed by of. There are some aspects of the course that I am scared of. Most people are frightened of being in front of a class for the first time. Adjectives describing behavior, like we have clever, kind, generous, nice or selfish. In a clause starting with it, that or this are often followed by of. Let us take an example. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee? That is very kind of you. Adjectives describing behavior directed towards others like cruel, good, nasty, polite or rude, they are often followed by to. I am worried about the pupils being rude to me. Okay, so we can make the sentence like that structure. Now, we also have nouns which form a group or which collocate with particular prepositions. So, the nouns like anything, or I can say nothing or something, they always go with about. Tell me anything about the course. I have no idea or I have nothing to say about this course. So, we form a collocation with it. Then if I talk about explanation, ideas, need, reasons, reputation, responsibility for change, we have decrease or experience, I can say they all rise, increase, they all form a pair with in. Experience, knowledge and understanding, they also pair or they also make a group with of. Talking about some other nouns like effect, impact, influence, they also have a pair with on, like the effect of or the effect on, we say that way. Even if we talk about some preposition, they form a phrase when they join with a word. There are some prepositional phrases like by, in, at, on or of, and to make it clear, like of is the most commonly used preposition which makes a prepositional phrase. We use by to talk about who in the passive clause, like by whom it was made, by whom it was done, but you will be taught how to deal with those things by the tutors on the course. So, here the sentence is by the tutors, showing by whom the activity is going to be done. Or we use the prepositional phrase to explain how something is done. So, you can remove any dirty marks by wiping it with a wet cloth, or to talk about transport and communications, for example, by plane, by email. We will be in touch by email soon, if that is okay. To talk about chance, by chance or by accident, by mistake, you can say like, I saw the advertisement for the job by chance and decided to apply for it. We use in for the following expressions like in love, in pain, in private, in debt, in a rush, in danger, in fashion, in luck, or in the end. Don't forget to keep in touch while you are away, or we use at for the following expressions like at first, at large, at peace. For example, at first I was impressed by the reputation of the university, but I also like the course you offer. We also use the at to make a phrase like at work, at home, at school, at the airport, at the university. Take an example. I have just finished my first degree at Stanford University. We use on to say why you are somewhere. Example, on holidays, on a business trip, on duty. We use of with expressions of quantity or at the same time to show the position or belongings. Example, all, any, both, either or neither. Prepositions are what? They are just what we can use it before again a nouns or a pronouns to show the position or the location, as I told you. We can use it in the different form also. For example, if I say, I was really impressed with the description of the course in your prospectus. If they shout at me in the class, I do not know what I am going to do, or I am not sure what I will do. Well, I have always been interested in teaching. In negative, not comes between the preposition and the ing form, and I am worried about not being able to control the class. So, all this was about prepositions. To summarize it again, prepositions are words, or they are the group of words. They are generally placed before a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase to show the position, the location, or the direction, and they are quite easy to understand, but at the same time you also need to use it or to apply it in the definite way as it is expected. So, that was all for prepositions.